The 2023 elections are just 15 days away, and there are more young people registered to vote than ever before. The 2020 Sars protests and the tragic aftermath of events are believed to have encouraged more youth to register to vote. But will this lead to an increase in voter turnout, which has been low in the recent elections? We have Arise correspondent Laila Johnson-Salami in the studio with us to make a little more sense of the numbers and the data. Thank you for joining us, Laila.
Thank you for having me. Lovely to be here with you both.
So the question is, will the numbers translate to votes? They do say that, we had a high turnout of activity during the Sars protests. There was a lot of youth vocalization.
Yes.
Do you think those same youth actually registered, got their PVCs, collected them, and will be voting? Or could it be a situation where most of them do not have their PVCs and might be using their collective voice for other reasons?
Very good question, and this is exactly what we were looking into here. We aired this report earlier on the channel, and I believe there are going to be more airings throughout the course of the day. And there are more young people registered to vote for the 2023 elections than ever before. And it's believed that this does have a lot to do with the 2020 Sars protest, because that was a social awakening, but also a political awakening. And what it's done, it's encouraged a lot of young people to go out there and get their PVCs. Now, here's the caveat, the question of whether this is really going to translate into votes at the polls. Looking at data from Steers, an intelligence organization that we also featured in this report, they believe, based on their studies, and they carried out one of the most comprehensive polls on the elections that we have so far, interviewing over 6,000 correspondents across all 36 states of the country. And they believe that if voter turnout is high, and this is where it's very interesting, Peter Obi is likely to win the elections because of that youth vote. But if voter turnout is low, their polls show that Bola Tinubu is likely to emerge victorious. So you can see that voter turnout is probably going to have a lot to do with which way the elections swing and sway this time around. And in 2019, voter turnout was just at 35%. So that was very, very low. The hope is that it will be higher this time around. But of course, there are certain factors that can stop that from happening. For example, violence on elections day. Then also the psychological impact. I spoke to Dr. Bonju Abiri, who is a psychiatrist, and explained that the impact of the Sars protest may encourage some people to go out to vote, but for others, it may actually keep them at home. They may actually fear going out in case of any violence after what we experienced in October 2020. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But based on what a lot of the youths that I have spoken to have said, it does seem like there is something different this time around, and that is going to be people going out there and putting votes in at the polls. I mean, we definitely won't know for sure until the 25th, but I do think, based on my studies, we are going to see more than the 35% that we saw in 2019.
Well, thank you so much for that very brief and insightful contribution. Laila Johnson-Salami, thank you for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you.